Good evening, everyone. This is Zahid from One Life, and I welcome you all to the yet another session of mental health awareness that we go live with the people from different domains, expertise, and different platforms, and a different. So I'm looking at for people to join in so that we can start up the program, and so I'll just request the guest for today, who is Lieutenant Colonel Amiya Patra, who will be joining us shortly, and he will be talking about mental health awareness. So we'll have the introduction and talk about how we are doing it. So let me just send it an invite so that we can kick off the meeting, and I can see him online. The request, so let it join, and then we can proceed with the programs. I welcome you, Mr. Lieutenant Colonel, Mr. Patra, Amiya.
Hello. How are you, Jahid?
And I'm good, and it's nice seeing you after a couple of sessions that you have been doing for a couple of months now. So rigorous
Same here.
and it's
Super
highly
excited.
motivating. Yeah, it's highly motivating to see you, talking about different subject matters, and I am sure that people would be blessed enough to hear you today as well. So before taking any time, let me just everybody introduce you to Lieutenant Colonel Amiya Patra and his
Lieutenant Commander. Sorry, Jahid.
Okay, so it's better rather I make mistakes. So I'll just hand it over to you so that you can introduce yourself. And we have a very simple kind of agenda for the day where we talk about your accomplishment or something you have been doing for so long, and talking about yourself, and then you can share some beautiful and some critical aspects of the experiences you have. And definitely it's all about mental health awareness, so definitely your insights, your suggestions, your advices will help each one of us at all the level to make sure that we go into a right direction and path. And definitely your expertise will help us gain confidence and much better things to come in for the future. Over to you, Mr. Amiya.
I think, thank you, Zahid. I would rather see that, let's have a heart-to-heart conversation here, because I don't want it to be more of my session. It should not look like a session at all. Okay, so sure. as you know that the most of the issues what we have today is like when we talk about mental health or issues which are related to the kind of adversity that we are going through. That requires one simple thing, is that first let's be comfortable with each other, and that's the most important part of it. Okay. So today the biggest issue is that we are not able to open out to each other. Okay, so I would expect in this session the least that we can be will be comfortable, talking heart to heart, whatever way
we
can. Okay. So as you I think thank you for inviting me to this session, and I'm super excited to see what One Life is doing. Okay, and that's the I think before I think before I could start and we could discuss, I think I would like to give a small little introduction about me.
Yeah,
I'm Lieutenant Commander Amiya Patra. I'm an engineer by education, and I'm a writer by passion, and I'm a soldier by emotion. Hence, I call myself a creative soldier. Okay, so that's a very short introduction.
So sorry guys, we would be having some fluctuating interruptions in the network, so kindly bear with us. So he would be shortly there, because though we are doing all the sessions over the time, because a lot of people are using a lot of bandwidths and networking issues they must be having. So nice person will give insights on a lot of things. Yeah. And I think he has left just due to some inconvenience in terms of maybe network issues. So I'll just see when he comes in. So ladies and gentlemen, and this is again yet another session of mental health awareness, where we talk about the mental health and how to be positive at these times, and what best we can do to boost our communications, and keep the ball rolling, and talk about the mental health issue that is happening all across, and how each one of us can contribute towards mental health, and how. So I can see that he is already there, so I'll just invite him. Yeah. So today our guest is Mr. Amiya. So he's here.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
back.
You. Yeah. Yeah.
I think, sorry for the interruption.
No problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I was, what I was saying is that, yes, I think today's times where everybody seems to be a speaker in this world, where everybody wants to talk. Okay, what we actually lack today, and which is desperately required for all of us to do, is to listen. Okay, so today I would say this, that today is the International Friendship Day. I think it's a coincidence that we're talking on this day, and we're talking about a wonderful thing called friendship. Okay,
yeah.
So I don't really see, on a friendship day, when we're talking about friendship and we're talking about friends being friends forever, how can we ever forget this fact that unless until this whole idea of sharing does not exist, where comes the friendship? So if there is friendship, there has to be sharing, right? So when we share,
and sharing is caring. Yeah.
And sharing is caring. Okay, so I think right from the school days we have heard this thing, and we have been told this thing, that keep sharing. Unfortunately, with time, as we understand, we get so-called wisdom, which is actually acts against the small little things inside us, and which always teaches you that to compete. So we keep competing with each other, and it becomes a race. Okay. So somebody, in one of the sessions which I was doing with Infosys, I just happened to be asked by somebody, said that it's a rat race everywhere, and how do I survive? And a lot of people say this, that if you don't run, you'll probably get run over by people. So I was telling him that, okay, I have a solution to that. Okay, suppose you're on a track and you're running a race, and you find that there are people behind you. You know that if you stop, there is somebody who will come and run over you. Then the best part today is to set yourself aside, go out of the track, allow people to move out. I'm telling you, there is nobody who will run over you. Okay, so that's something which probably we need to understand. In today's world, when we are all competing and we are all fighting a race against each other, I think the most important part for us to understand that, take a pause, come out of that race. You'll realize there is nobody in this world who can run over you ever, and this is my guarantee. You won't believe, people could not believe that there can be a solution so simple. Most of the times, I think the solutions are quite simple. We just make it complicated. Okay, and a lot of people who I speak to.
So just an interruption in between. So there's somebody who is rigorous, who is asking again and again the question. So maybe he's for the person, it's for the first time they're attending. So I'll just give you the format of the program. So yeah, it is whatever we are discussing, it's all situation based and based on the experience we have in the life. So definitely you should be, somebody who is asking question should be aware that we do this with a specific object, that we are not going to be theoretical aspects. We'll be sharing some life experiences, advices, and suggestions what could help you out. So please be through the entire program, so that we can help each other in a much positive way. Yeah, go ahead.
Correct. Yeah. And I'm also open to this, Zahid. If you can actually put questions, we can always do it like a Q&A, and we can always go on and discuss things. I'm open to it. And even today, when we talk about all this, what I was trying to say is that, first thing which I told you is to listen, right? Before we could speak and before we could talk, I think we need to listen. There are a lot of people who keep coming to me and keep telling this thing to me that, sir, we are emotionally weak. And I keep telling this to them, that try and understand, if you take our emotions out, we are no more humans. Okay, today I think probably 10 years down the line, machines are going to rule the world in terms of work. Then what? The only thing that's going to remain with us, and which is going to make you survive in this world, is going to be the simple thing called human thing. And this human thing is nothing but emotions. Okay,
Yes.
so we need to understand, basically, to have control on them, how to actually, basically, it can become a turmoil for you. It probably can spoil you, but it can always strengthen you. The thing which you think is the emotion, which is probably your weakness today, can be the strength for you, but you need to work on it. You know, and so that's the most important part.
Very rightly said. So it's about listening first, and listening comes around with two of the facts: that listening to some other people, and just listening to them, because unless they speak up in full, and you interrupt in between, so they would not listen, right? And that becomes a trouble. And listening to self. So when you have to listen to yourself, what your heart and mind wants to communicate, right? हमें अपने आप से भी बातें करनी है. So that also comes in the listening. Very truly said. Yeah, sir. Please proceed further.
And I said that, you know, today many people, I have been a speaker on a global platform called Speak Up and Empower as well. So there also we were having a session where we were talking about the same thing, you know. So what exactly keeps you going, you know, in today's world when there are so much of things that needs to be done. I was telling the same thing, that yes, we are flooded with knowledge today. Okay, we are flooded with information today. Okay, but what is lacking is the most important part called wisdom. Okay, so knowledge does not necessarily translate into wisdom. Okay, you need to really work for them. You have knowledge. Everybody has got knowledge and information today. So everybody who has an access to internet probably has tremendous amount of information that is available to you. That's available to you. That's available to me. So nobody is so-called an expert today. I can't really say somebody who calls himself an expert can really hold an expert, because there are n number of things that are available that can actually be challenged to an expert, and expert may not be in a state to actually defend himself. But where do we come as an expert or a guide or a coach is when we try and understand the emotional quotient part of it. How do we use a knowledge as a wisdom is something where a coach comes into play, a person who has a wider experience, a better large life, life experience, he comes into play, and we probably, get some tips from him to understand life a little easier, to make life a little easier. So that's something, which is probably we can be open
about. So Amiya, we surprisingly, so there are a lot of people would not be asking questions in the sessions, but in your case, it's totally different, because I have started getting questions. Anyways, the question comes is, so you and me are the lucky ones. So no one has a time, somebody asked, no one has the time for anyone. Then how do you expect that someone will give me some time when I'm struggling? आपको क्यों लगता है कि कोई मेरे को time देगा? Please answer.
बिल्कुल. Now, इसके लिए मेरे पास एक बहुत ही simple सा example है. What happens is, who do we call a friend? Today, in today's world, we can't actually choose our family. We can't choose our relatives, right? Because by birth we get them, invariably, you like it or not. But I think we tend to choose our friends. Like, out of all these people who we come across, we always choose friends. So how do we choose friends? We always choose friends based on some kind of a vibe that we share. Okay. So many a times I call that nothing but Anuranan. Anuranan is a very wonderful word in Hindi. A lot of people do not know the meaning of it. But if I could actually translate it to somewhere, a word which is very close to it's basically a phenomena called what you call it in scientific term, if we call it, it's resonance. Okay, so we all are basically nothing but frequencies. We all have natural frequencies and forced frequencies. So when the frequency match happens, you somehow get the amplitudes go higher, the vibes match. So that is where you decide that yes, probably this particular soul is close to me. I can share things with him or her, and you just feel that that person is so close that where you can be yourselves. Most of the times you're not. We are all pretending to be somebody or other. But in front of some people, we just become ourselves. So when we open out as we are, the realist form of ours, probably we call that friendship, or we call it any particular relationship that we can give it to. But then in that point of things, what do you call that? Do you think that any of your friend who you call your friend, a true friend of yours, do you think that you call at 2:30 at night to your friend, despite knowing that he or she might be sleeping, and you give a call, anybody who picks up the call at that given point of time, भले ही आपको 10 गालियां दे, but he will still pick up and still tell you that कि तुझे यही टाइम मिला था मुझे कॉल करने के लिए, and after that, after the scolding session that you have for 5-10 minutes, probably you keep talking for 1 more hour with each other, trying to understand that what
that usually happens. Yeah,
that usually happens. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you call that people a friend of yours, like probably a companion, somebody you can actually trust upon. So that's the kind of things where we don't think of the time, we don't think of what we are going through today. We always understand, we have empathy for each other. Okay, so that's where I would say that somebody in this entire world, there will be one person who would say that I will keep everything aside and listen to this person. There are people. Okay, so you need to find that person.
Just to add on, Amiya, so what I see that the question also aims at to understand if the person is very close to me, and I normally get a lot of challenges in terms of understanding him, and I still feel that that person can actually help, but you get a lot of scoldings from them, or you don't get anything positive from them, but the person is very close, right?
True.
So what I would suggest is, this is where One Life pitch has to pitch, right?
Correct.
So we do not necessarily say that we have to identify that person whom we are sharing our positive vibes. Normally जैसा होता है ना, your vibes makes your tribe. तो आप जैसे होते हो, आपके वैसे ही लोग आपसे दोस्ती भी करते हैं, right?
मिलते हैं.
So if you do not identify any person among yourself, don't waste time and energy on somebody whom you think that might not help. चाहे वो आपका दोस्त हो, चाहे आपका खास हो, तो in that case you need somebody to speak up with, and उसके लिए आपको काउंसलर चाहिए होगा या फिर कोई साइकोलॉजिस्ट चाहिए होगा. हम साइकोलॉजिस्ट पे नहीं जाते हैं. We need a counselor, and if you're not able to get a counselor, reach out to us. We'll make sure that you get a good counselor and who will counsel you. So that is this chronology we follow, and let me tell you very frankly, the privacy is our priority. So we maintain the privacy because we are in the kind of business or in a kind of concern where privacy is the major concern. So we maintain the privacy. You don't have to think the otherwise. We are here to help you out. That's what the intent is. Hope that answers your question, dear. Somebody has been asking कि कोई अपना हो तो क्या कैसा मतलब कहीं और अगर आपको पता होता है वो हेल्प नहीं कर पा रहा है तो क्या करना चाहिए?
I think मैं कुछ एग्जांपल्स दूंगा जिसमें बिल्कुल अनजान भी कभी-कभी अपने बन जाते हैं. So that's also very important part of it. So I was making a film on suicide prevention thing, which was supposed to be with Anupam Shyam ji, who's not well these days, and we're praying that he comes back soon and joins us with this thing. So this is a beautiful film that we were making on suicide prevention. Okay, and the best theme of it's actually inspired by a true story of mine. So where I happen to be that person at that given point of time, a complete stranger, who I didn't know exactly, I didn't know who he was and where he was from. But what happens is, when we are all positive in our lives and we know that there is nothing that is actually bothering us, what happens is every time I come across with people, I happen to come across with people from different walks of life, I happen to see that I can sense this negativity, in whichever way. If there is a thing that is going in your brain which is affecting you, invariably I find that there is something seriously wrong. So I happen to speak to a stranger for no reason, so no rhyme and reason. We happen to be strike into a conversation, and within no time, just because I was a stranger, probably that person had opened out to me, saying him that what actually was wrong with him. And over just a coffee had gone into a conversation, then a walk on a beach, then it just went on, and at the end of the day, what I realized was that day would have been his last day if I had not spoken to him. So what I'm trying to tell you that and this fact did shock me a lot when I got to know about it. And I did invite him for the poster launch of my film, because I told him that it's basically inspired by the true story, what actually happened with us.
So that makes sense.
So that's exactly the point is, today what we need to understand is that a normal conversation that you think cannot make a difference to somebody's life can also make a huge difference, because at that given point of time you don't know. That's why I was telling you, at a time of despair, a pinch of hope can bring joy to you. You can't really understand. It can be a little bit of positivity. Let's take an example. Suppose आप मान के चलो कि घर में किसी की death हो गई है, okay, and we are all into that particular tithi, right? We all observe this 10 days. So मान के चलो कि वो 10th day है, and we are all sitting there. We are all sad, knowing that we have a grief that we need to live with it now. So this is the kind of thing that we are into. Everybody, you will see that किसी ने खाना नहीं खाया है, रोए जा रहे हैं, रोए जा. It's all negativity all around, and everybody is trying to go through that loss. And just think of a 2-year-old kid among them who comes in. The 2-year-old kid doesn't know what exactly has happened. Okay, he doesn't know what is life, what is death, nothing. Okay, the kid comes with a smile and jumps into somebody's arm and says that he wants to just play, and nobody else is playing with him. Now you try to understand. I'm telling you, this is magic. This is the magic of positivity. That small little smile that kid brings into a atmosphere like this, an ambience like this, trust me, within 30 seconds, everybody would smile. And everybody would be at least making sure that the kid, and that's why I keep saying hope and positivity, all negativity or anything which is even sadness, is basically contagious. In whatever, it's positive or negative, emotions are always contagious. So we all need to understand, as you rightly said, if we are in the right tribe, probably we get the right vibe. That's so true. So
very nice.
Many times
somebody was asking about any personal experience you want to share where you, and something that helped you to come out of that problem, or some depression or anxiety you faced in your personal life, and that particular thing that actually helped you out to come over it. So people would definitely like to know that. Yeah,
I would love to say this. I think this is the first time probably I am sharing this on a public domain.
So it's again up to you. If you want, then okay. Even if you don't say, that's fine with me.
No, I would love to, because this is something which it's always, because I always feel that that's a moment which probably has allowed me to face the truth. So I would never ever see that it should be with me. I keep sharing it, and I am a person, I keep telling this, that I am as real as you see me. Like so, there's nothing to hide. It should come out, and things like this has to come out, because you need to understand what I have gone through as well. So unless until I can always say that I can empathize with you, unless and I have not gone through it, probably I really can't empathize with you.
So that actually gives hope and positivity to other people, that mental health is just a normal thing to happen. So anybody can feel depressed at times or stressed at times. Yeah.
Exactly. Let's take this example of Sushant Singh Rajput. Okay, today when you say that somebody is so successful, and people call him obviously if you go by figures, facts, all that, he's successful. Today when we talk about he had a depression, a lot of people are still questioning this thing. How can the depression hit him? But it is possible. It can happen to anyone. So today, when I go back to this particular incident of mine, so I actually joined Navy because of a friend of mine who was from Bhubaneswar. Okay, and he was a very, I think I would say the closest friend of mine. And I happened to join Navy because of him. So he told me that, okay, you got the call for SSB, I got the call for SSB. You don't want to go, but it's okay. But if you're going with me, because I'm going, you need to go with me. I said, okay, done. We go to the SSB together. I get selected. He doesn't. So he pays all this money he was carrying to me, because I was only carrying money for one day, because I didn't actually cater for a week, because I got selected. I was thinking I will not get selected. Okay, somehow I got selected. So he gave all this money to me, and he said that, okay, continue. I want you to, crack this and come back. So it did happen that I got through and I got selected, and I came back, and he kept calling me and telling that, okay, don't even dare to leave this, because you need to go and join. Okay, that's how it is. And I said, okay, I'm joining. I got it. So today, whatever I am today, it's because of my friend called Sachi. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about the story of Sachi. Okay, which I have not really been open about. So what happens is, there comes a time, he's such a good friend of mine, you can understand that, what is the kind of value which we had for each other. When he says that, you would join, I would join. So that's how the kind of friendship we had. And he was that kind of a friend who would listen to me at middle of the night, any given point of time. I told him that I need help, you to come in. He would fly down from Delhi to me, and I will fly down for him. That's the kind of thing what we had for each other. Okay. And one fine day, he tells me that, okay, probably I'm going to get married. I have seen a girl, and I think it's time for me to get married. I said, wow, fantastic. That's a knowledge. I mean, that's news. I think we need to celebrate. They said, all fine, but what I want to tell you is that you are in Navy, you can actually get some leave. I have some issues because at my company things are not really fine, so I may not get good amount of leave for the thing. So you need to do everything for me. I said, yes, done. I think I was waiting for this day because for my sister's marriage, he did what not. He did everything for me. I just went there like a guest. That's the kind of thing what he did for me. So we were a family. His family knew me, I knew them. So it was like we were like a family. So that friend tells me that okay, 2 weeks down the line he is going to have a marriage. Everything was set. I was supposed to go make the arrangement before 2 weeks. I had taken the leave. Everything was sanctioned. I was supposed to leave. So tomorrow I'm, say probably on Saturday I'm supposed to leave. On Friday, I think on Thursday night, I get a call from him. We speak for hours altogether. What is our plan? How do we do it? When do we meet? What will happen? How do we celebrate? Everything. On Friday, he went for a match. Okay, he went for a cricket match. And he goes in, and I wish him luck in the morning because he called me that, just ek bar bol de, okay, you score a century today. I said, yes, you'll score a century today. So that's how it is. So he went there, he went to play. And I was of the opinion that I was making my arrangements for leaving because next day I had, my flight so that I can reach Bhubaneswar. Everything was set. And I was in office till 6 o'clock, 6:30. 7 o'clock I started from office. 7:30 I get a call from an unknown number. And I didn't know actually whose number was that. I just picked up and I said, yes, who's this? Do you know Sachi? I said, yes. What happened? Said, Sachi is no more. And my world just fell apart. I didn't know who is that person. How can somebody tell me this? I said, no, I don't believe you. Who are you? What are you? And he said, we are from the same thing. We had a match, and this has happened. And he just fell down during the match and all that. We took him to hospital. Nothing worked out, and he's no more. Okay. No. And I was like, okay, I wouldn't still believe him. So I called him, his friends who were there in his office, his colleagues and all that. And all of them were saying that, yes, it happened. I was like, no, this can't happen. This can't happen because I'm not able to accept this news. It can't happen. Then I called the family. Then they said that, yes, I think we got to know this, but we don't know yet what has actually happened. So I was like, okay. But then the worst part is, I think somehow by, probably in an hour or so, I got a confirmation that he's no more. Now the issue is that, just imagine the plight of me. Okay. It was my time to give him back. Okay. So this was for me. I did everything on earth for him to make sure I just give everything back to him, whatever he has done for me. Okay. And that given point of time, I'm the only one who has spoken to the girl who he's going to get married to. Okay. And I had planned a surprise for them before the marriage that they can meet each other. Just imagine, it's all unconventional, but I thought I'll make sure that he gets the happiness of his life. And today, when I take a flight, I go there to receive his dead body. Just imagine what kind of situation I was into. Yeah. And it took, I was doing I was getting into I was doing the rituals there. I was trying to be the good son there. I was trying to do everything that a son was supposed to do there. and I was trying to console the girl, who's yet to get, at that given point of time, their family to the girl. I was trying to do everything because everything was expected out of me so that somebody would handle it. If somebody could handle it, is Amiya. But what was happening inside me, that nobody knew. Exactly. What happened is, probably we did the ceremony, the cremation happened and all these things that would need to be, the rituals did happen. Everything was done. And after that, the one who talks so much was silent for months altogether. Months. For months, people have not seen me speaking. And I didn't know what to speak to because the kind of loss which I had and what are things that were happening inside me was irrecoverable because I didn't know how to get out of how to give him back. I didn't know how to get him back. And even today, when I see this at this given point of time, I always felt over a period of time, probably months had gone, and I somehow, the biggest thing in what I realized in this particular loss of mine, which is probably a part of me had left me, right? So what I actually found is the most difficult part for everybody who's going through a phase like this, where we call it like spirit anxiety, where I'm not the person who I am, right? So I was there in the job, I was doing what I'm supposed to do, but I was not myself. Okay, that was something which I was going through. So there was sleepless nights. I was struggling to handle my own things. I didn't know who do I share it with. I didn't know. I was finding it so difficult. So at that given point of time, with time where I really understood what was required at that given point of time for me to get back to myself, was only thing in one word. I can call it acceptance. Okay. The day I accepted this fact that Sachi is no more. Sachi is very much there with me. Okay. He's very much there with me if I could actually sense him. Since then, you won't believe, life has changed drastically. And for every single decision of mine, okay, you'll believe it or not, but the reality is the vibes of that person, the energy of that person still remains with you forever. Nobody really leaves you. It's probably the body, right? So that's what we have already known, that body can leave, but the soul remains with you. That's how it is. So you start connecting to the soul, and that is where you would start understanding that the energies are always around.
Exactly. And, so very well said about one thing that most of the people said about the major problem and the major barrier in communication, and in fact things like this is basically the acceptance. People do not accept that things have gone wrong.
Correct.
And what is the next we have to do?
True.
आप वो एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं कर पाएंगे तो आप अगला मूव ऑन कैसे करेंगे?
Exactly.
So a lot of people have problems in the acceptance only. Abhi bhi, there are a lot of cases we deal, and the major problem is the acceptance. People do not accept, they are not ready to accept that things have gone wrong. Our job is to make sure that please accept, and then only you understand to move forward. Because until unless you accept, nothing will happen. Right?
Correct.
So see, आपसे positivity ऐसे निकली, because this is how people learn that life must move on, right? With all this odds and this thing. And कहाँ ढूंढता है इंसान मंदिरों और शिवालों में या मस्जिदों में? अगर कहीं भगवान है तो वो दिलों में है. तो ये सारी चीजें देखने दिखाने के लिए है. अगर एक सच्ची दोस्ती है, अच्छी दोस्ती है, तो वो दिलों में है. आज फ्रेंडशिप डे है. मैं ये बोलना चाहूंगा कि एक अच्छा दोस्त, जिसे हम दोस्त कहते हैं ना, वो उसको किसी चीजों का लालच नहीं है. वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ आपकी खुशी देखता है. तो ऐसे लोगों का होना बहुत जिंदगी में बहुत जरूरी है. दे आर योर बेस्ट फ्रेंड्स. ठीक है. और आप यकीन मानिए, अगर इस तरह के लोग नहीं है तो शायद आप ये मान के चले कि हमारे अंदर में थोड़ा बहुत वैसी कुछ कमियां रह गई होंगी. बी हम्बल, बी लवेबल. और ये एक ऐसी चीज है कि आप बोलते नहीं कि लॉ ऑफ अट्रैक्शन भी यही कहता है कि जिस तरह के आप इंसान बनोगे या होगे, वैसे लोगों को आप अट्रैक्ट करोगे. तो इसने अमिया को बहुत स्टेबल बनाया, स्ट्रांग बनाया, इंस्पायरिंग बनाया. आज जो इंस्टेंस को आप बोलते हुए 2 सेकंड सोचते नहीं हो या फिर लाइव बोलने में आपको डर नहीं आता है, इट हैज मेड यू स्ट्रांग ओवर द टाइम. सो मेरा चीज है कि इंस्टेंसेस लाइफ में दो ही चीज करती हैं आपके साथ, तीसरा नहीं होता कुछ. Either they are to make you much stronger than before, or they are there to destroy you, break you forever. तो दो ही चीजों में से now it's for you to decide whether you want to break yourself or make yourself.
True.
Very truly said, and I'm really happy to get this thing coming from him. And definitely your friend was a noble person. And in fact, देखिए आज उसकी बात बोलते अगर आप थकते नहीं हो ना, तो कहीं ना कहीं उसकी सोल भी उतनी ब्लेस्ड है कि वो भी सोचता होगा, कहीं अगर होगा तो सोच रहा होगा कि जाते जाते अच्छा दोस्त बनाया था जो अभी भी मेरे को मेरी बातें करते हुए थकता नहीं है. राइट, ही इज देयर, स्टिल देयर विथ यू.
right there.
Right. Very nice. And in fact, we almost come to the. In fact, we have already over the time. It was such a nice, such a nice experience you shared, and in fact, very good thing that you mentioned about friendship. आज का दिन बहुत special है, and before moving on, in fact, we are going to close it off. So I just wanted to get something from, because we have been watching us since so many times, and in fact we have been in talking terms about what we do. So just for your interest and for the interest of everybody who are watching us, we just wanted to make sure that One Life is basically into mental health awareness, and we make sure that we achieve a common target of having a mentally well and balanced society. So no matter what age group or what sector you belong to, whatever is bothering you or making you more depressed, or you want some solution, talk to us so that we can give you a proper counseling or psychology. We have a pool of people who are into psychology, who they are psychologists, clinical psychologists, and subject matter expertise, and the counselors who are there to help you day in day out. So you don't have to worry about anything. So talk to us, because until unless you talk, there are no people to help you out, because यहाँ पे सबको अपनी पड़ी है, हमको भी पड़ी है अपनी आपको, लेकिन हमको आपकी ज़्यादा पड़ी है, इसलिए क्योंकि we do not want people to lose on this thing, so personally or professionally. So this is the platform we have, and Amiya was here to talk about his experiences and given some suggestions. So what advice, Amiya, as a I would not say you, because you being into public speaking profile and different domains, there must be something that you might suggest or advise us, so that we can in the coming sessions, or probably the coming days, we can adapt to those ideas, so that it is more reachable to people across us, because there are a lot of time people do not prefer to speak up, and that becomes very difficult for us to actually call people around and talk about mental health issues. So what do you want to suggest us? Thank you so much.
I think I'll say that it's a pleasure that I have been here on this particular thing, where we are talking about all this. So one particular thing, because I have been also related to a couple of other organizations where we talk about this thing, and we deal with clients who has this kind of issues. I personally also do some counseling to people as well. So most of the things, what I keep seeing them, what's happening is, why do we think it's a taboo today? Because most of the thing is because of the understanding of people who consider themselves to be healthy in terms of physically and mentally both. Okay, the biggest thing that is the difference that is actually required to be thought of, or probably we need to work on, is today when somebody tells you that I'm not well, so what do you do is, like, we send an advice to thoda paracetamol le le, theek ho jayega, perfectly fine, right? You have a fever, you take a paracetamol, it will be fine. So when somebody tells you that I'm really not feeling fine, probably I need to figure out, there are few things inside me which is making me anxious or making me unstable, all these things are there. Then we say that, okay, jaake counselor se mil le, theek ho jayega. So, this is the kind of things which are happening. Or immediately there are a lot of people who do a lot of things that are wrong, is we come to a particular stage called sympathizing with the person who you think is ill. Trust me, what we need today, which is basically the need of the hour, is not sympathy. We need empathy. Okay. The most important part for you to understand, for all of us to understand, is empathize with somebody, never sympathize. Because the person who calls out, who actually dares a lot to come out and speak to you, if you sympathize with him, you're making sure he never ever opens out to anybody. Okay.
So
the first and foremost thing that you need to do when you actually come across somebody who really needs an help, or basically a listening ear, it may not be help. Okay, it might be just listening ear. Most of the times we have the solution inside us. And today, as a counselor, I keep telling to people, I'm not Krishna who's going to tell you that, okay, this is how things are, this is what you need to do. No, I'm not. I'm a person who can hear out and probably tell you that, okay, everything is inside you. I'll just show you the way. Now, that's what we do. So here, I would say this, the best part to understand, because I keep talking to people with a lot of issues, and most of the issue is nothing but the empathy. When I empathize with them, they understand that he probably is the right person to who I can talk to. If you can
by empathy, you actually connect people.
Connect, exactly.
And by sympathizing, you are breaking them.
Bilkul.
That's what I understand.
You are actually creating a barrier which is supposed to be broken. Okay, so that's something which I would be my advice. Probably this is something which we need to work on. All of us, including me. I'm still working on it. So that's how I see it. Right. So I think
that's a very nice learning from you, because we all are learning, right? So we still learn today. We even if at our age around 50, 60 plus, 70 plus, we still will be learning. So it's a continuous process. So very nicely said, and thanks Amiya for joining us. And
thank you, Zahid.
We love to see you here. And in fact, that's one of the great insights that you have given. And we are lucky to have you. And be blessed as always, and keep spreading the positive vibes that you're. So people who would like to get connected to Amiya is always available on the social media, and very viral person. A very viral person on earth. And I really like the way you have been promoting a lot of stuffs around the positivity. It is very important these days. Before we end up the session, I just wanted to like this thing. Both negative and positive aspects. For everything, there are negative and positive things.
Correct.
It's up to you what you want to eat and digest.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct.
So सब चीज मिलेगा आपको. जी, yeah, go ahead.
There are two lines I would conclude it with. A lot of people think that कि कैसे आप जरा एक secret बता दो मुझे कि जो चाहूंगा मैं हो जाएगा type. I keep telling this. I have written two lines like this. That कि जो चाहोगे वो हो जाएगा. जो चाहोगे वो हो जाएगा. अंधेरे की निराशा के अंधेरे से दूर, निराशा के अंधेरे से दूर, उजाले की निराशा के अंधेरे से दूर, उम्मीद की उजाले की ओर चल दो.
उम्मीद की उजाले चल दो. राइट.
तो जो चाहोगे वो हो जाएगा, वो
मिल जाएगा. वेरी नाइस.
अपने अंदर एंड दे से दैट अपने अंदर के आते हुए ना को सुन के भी अनसुना कर दो. तो जो चाहोगे वो हो जाएगा. वो हो जाएगा. So that's
exactly. Very simple, precise, and जाते जाते तो बहुत अच्छा था, है?
Yeah. So that's how it is.
Salute to you, and keep spreading the positivity. Yeah.
I would keep doing it. Thank you, Zahid. Thank you, One Life. Thank you, everyone who joined. Thanks a lot.